Well, we got a pretty big update on Matt Reeves' plans for the Batman. Now we have a new rumor that's making the rounds that seems to indicate Matt Reeves has got a lot of Batman on his plate, and when he finally gets the gang back together to do Batman 2, they're also going to do the Batman 3. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about this report, where it comes from, and why this might be a really great idea for this franchise. Now before we do that though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos and want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well, to be completely transparent guys, I really did enjoy Matt Reeves' The Batman. I like the early take on the character and his version of Gotham, and honestly, I know some people don't like Pattinson in the role, but as a young, inexperienced crime fighter, I think it completely worked. Now, a few months ago, the Batman 2 was actually pushed back a whole year, and this raised a bunch of questions on how this movie, which is an Elseworlds project, was going to fit into DC Studios' wider plans for the DCU. Now, James Gunn has said multiple times that out-of-continuity projects will continue to be made, but it is pretty weird to me to think that the Batman sequel might actually have to compete with James Gunn's Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold. Now, to be fair, The Batman was a pretty big hit for Warner Brothers in 2022. It did $770 million at the box office, and made Warner Brothers, well, quite a bit of money. And in the case of this franchise, it's probably Warner Brothers that's making the overall call and not DC Studios. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting, because we got a new rumor from My Time to Shine Hello. And like we always say, trusting these anonymous scoopers is, well, a bit cagey. And My Time to Shine Hello has had as many misses as hits, but given what's going on behind the scenes at DC Studios, well, this kind of makes a lot of sense. Now, what he is saying is the current plan is for the Batman 2 to be shot next year, but they will continue and shoot the Batman 3 immediately after finishing the second film. Now, at this point, Matt Reeves has had a ton of time to work on a potential third chapter, and I have to believe Warner Brothers absolutely doesn't want this big of a gap between the second and third films as we got with the first and the second. By the time the Batman 2 comes out, it will have been 4.5 years since the first movie dropped, and that is a long time for franchises and often spells problems. Remember how this impacted the Aquaman movie with such a large gap, and I'm sure Warner Brothers doesn't want that to happen again. I'd also imagine Matt Reeves will want to move on once this trilogy is done. But Gunn has made it pretty clear that Reeves is producing that Arkham Asylum set TV series that will be set in the DCU and not in that Batverse that he's developing with Robert Pattinson. Now we are getting the Penguin later this year, and that is supposed to bridge the time frame between the Batman and its upcoming sequel. But getting two of these movies done at one time and then moving them into theaters maybe in October of 2026 and then again in October of 2027, well, that will keep that version of the character pretty fresh in their mind, and by shooting them back to back, it also reduces some production costs, which will definitely make both films more profitable. Also consider locking down the talent for these projects is not easy. Robert Pattinson and Andy Serkis kind of lead the cast here, and both actors are, well, super busy. Serkis directs a lot of films and is going to reprise his role as Gollum in the not-so-distant future, and Pattinson seems to be one of the busiest guys in Hollywood, so getting him locked down for a long period of time so we can finish this trilogy is probably pretty crucial. Now, beyond that, we don't have any other real details on the film. In terms of plot, we know basically nothing, and we keep hearing tons of rumors. A lot of people wonder if Barry Keoghan will return as the Joker. We've heard Two-Face could be part of this film, Hush, the original version of Clayface, who's going to show up in Batman the Caped Crusader, and multiple other classic Batman villains that haven't come to life on the big screen and are way overdue. We'll follow this one pretty closely. I do really believe Warner Brothers is probably going to try to crank both these movies out at one time. They have found success in that in the past, and it will make a lot of sense for them to kind of wrap this Elseworlds universe up as soon as possible, give fans a great story, but also leave that space for James Gunn to grow his DCU. How this all works out, well, we're going to have to wait and see.